My friends, modern society often seeks solutions, but in many times it has stopped seeking, in modern times it has stopped seeking wisdom. Today's readings remind us that the just and wise society we seek will take shape to the degree in which we strive for and seek the kingdom of heaven. Today's first reading recalls why King Solomon was considered one of the wisest kings of Israel. So much so that almost all the wisdom literature in the Old Testament was believed to have been written by him. His father David had established a united and a prosperous kingdom. It was a tough act to follow. When the Lord offered Solomon help as he began to reign, he didn't jump straight to specific needs for addressing specific problems like wealth, power, and military strength. He knew something would help him address them all: an understanding heart that could distinguish right from wrong. Moral wisdom would not only ensure that he was a good king, but that of the good of his subjects under his leadership would endure as well, because the common good is just as important as the good of the individual. In today's second reading, St. Paul reminds us that if we want things to work out, we must love God in all things. Love for God is the wisest course of action. Complex situations, difficulties, and trials all bear the risk of separating us from God, but only if we distance ourselves from Him in those moments. Throughout salvation history, God has taught us how to face all these things until finally the Son came and showed us how to face them, all the way to Calvary. In our Lord, we find embodied all the moral wisdom from which Solomon could have hoped, but something even more: the spiritual wisdom and power to be holy. The Lord calls everyone to holiness, and those who respond to the call are put back on track through the grace of justification. And if they persevere in holiness, aided by grace, they will one day be glorified. The three parables in today's gospel teach us about what summarizes and reflects the moral and spiritual wisdom that the Lord has not only woven into creation, but revealed and announced: the kingdom of heaven. First, like a hidden treasure, it's worth something that takes us by surprise and is found in the most unexpected of places. In finding it, you don't just feel smart, you feel fortunate. It doesn't come free, and it doesn't come cheap. If you're willing to spend everything on attaining it, it must be of more value than what you have already have. The kingdom of heaven should put everything we have, everything we are, into perspective. When we invest ourselves completely, the returns will be unimaginable. Second, the kingdom of heaven is like finding a great pearl after a lifetime of smaller ones. Is something comparable to all the things we value in this world, but much greater in comparison. The kingdom of heaven is not going to be something totally different from the treasures we hold and experience in this life. When we seek the true, when we seek the good, and we seek the beautiful in this life, we are paving the way for the kingdom already present in those things to come to full fruition. And the final parable reminds us that the kingdom of heaven will come one day fully for everyone. If we understand the kingdom as not only the work of salvation, but all the other natural goods that in some way result from that work, a healthy society, solid families, true concern for the spiritual and material needs of others, then we can understand how it is not just identified with the people who are actively working to be a part of it and to extend it. All kinds of fish end up in the net. Like any society, there are good members and bad members, and part of society's duty is to help all its members be good members of society, even when necessary, through penal measures applied to those who are bad, with the hope of helping them to reform themselves and do not present a danger to themselves or society. At the end of history, when the work of the kingdom has definitely run its course and reached everywhere our Lord wants it to be, and that is, in the end, everywhere and everyone, no one will remain unaffected or beyond its reach. Now, that could be a chilling thought if we don't remember that the kingdom equates to salvation and a good and just order of things that spreads and takes hold forever. Each person, in the end, chooses how they'll end up in the kingdom, in that net. The bad will have squandered all their opportunities to be good and will be cut off from the goods of the kingdom forever. The good, through their efforts and God's aid and mercy, will enjoy a saintly life. They will possess God and receive all the promises our Lord made on the Sermon on the Mount in full. We must work for the good of others, not just our own good, but in the end, each person will stand or fall on his or her own merits, and not one will be able to ride on another's coattails on Judgment Day. My friends, we're not likely to discover treasures unless we go looking for them. And believe it or not, treasure hunters exist even today. It could be as simple as buying a metal detector, or as sophisticated as seeking investors, gathering evidence, and setting out on expeditions that often risk bankruptcy and reputations to find that sunken galleon. For some, it is not about money, but archaeology. They seek to find out what happened and where, and help show conjecture to the be fact. Western civilization was largely founded on Judeo-Christian tradition. The gospel is a hidden treasure woven historically into so many aspects of Western living today, no matter how much the modern society tried to claim otherwise. And lastly, the internet is a tremendous accumulation of information, some of it good, some of it dubious, and some of it contradictory. It is also a virtual community where people exchange information, help others, but also harm others. While it can be useful for keeping in touch with distant friends and finding solutions to practical problems, accumulating information is not often the path to wisdom, which consists of connecting the dots and seeking out the bigger picture in life. Sometimes the more we learn, the more confused we become. We must train ourselves to discover the treasure hidden in a lot of life's noises, or we'll just bury it deeper. Like the last comment in today's gospel, every scribe who has been instructed in the kingdom of heaven is like the head of a household who brings from his storeroom both the new and the old, which means we must sort this information out without discarding tradition or innovation to see how it truly benefits us and those whom we love. Like a storeroom, there isn't room for everything. So, my friends, let us use the gospel to help us sort out that useful information and discard the junk.